Hey everybody, and welcome back to the FAQ Shack. This is the show where we take your biggest questions and just break them all down. And wow, with all the buzz lately, our inbox has been absolutely flooded with requests for one topic in particular. So today, you asked for it, and we are diving headfirst into the wild atompunk apocalypse of Fallout. So this whole explainer was kicked off by a question from listener Wasteland Wanderer 97. Awesome username, by the way, who asks, what is Fallout and why is everyone talking about it? And you know what? That is a fantastic question because it's a huge world. So we're going to break it all down. We'll explore its totally bizarre retro-future vibe. We'll uncover the super dark conspiracy at its core, and we'll look at the games that built this incredible legacy. And hey, for real, if there's a topic you're dying for us to tackle next, drop it in the comments below. All right, let's get into it. To really get Fallout, you first have to understand its world. And I'm telling you, this is not your typical run-of-the-mill gray, dusty apocalypse. Oh no, it is something so much weirder and, honestly, way more stylish. The keyword you need to know is right here on the screen: atompunk. So what does that mean? Well, just imagine a future dreamed up from the perspective of 1950s America. It's a world where that post-war boom, that culture and design and optimism, it just never stopped. We're talking nuclear-powered cars, chipper robot butlers, and these massive clunky computers, but they all exist right alongside laser rifles and super advanced AI. And that's exactly what makes this aesthetic so powerful. It perfectly captures that weird Cold War feeling, this boundless, amazing hope and technology mixed with the constant nagging fear of nuclear war. So, okay, how did this awesome retro future come to an end? Well, in the Fallout universe, history kind of splits from ours right after World War II. This obsession with atomic power eventually leads to this huge global war over resources, and it all comes to a head in the Great War on October 23rd, 2077. And get this, in just 2 hours, a nuclear exchange between the US and China basically wipes everything out. It just flash freezes this incredible atompunk world in a state of radioactive ruin. So, when the bombs start falling, where do you go? Well, millions of people rushed into these massive underground shelters called vaults. They were built by a corporation called Vault-Tec. But here's the thing. These were not your average Fallout shelters. They were hiding one of the wasteland's absolute darkest secrets.
The sales pitch was pretty simple. Vault-Tec was going to save a little slice of humanity from the nuclear fire. A whole network of safe havens, for the lucky few. But as the people who made it inside would eventually find out, that promise was a total, complete lie.
Yeah, here's the shocking truth. The vaults were never really about saving people. Out of all 122 of them, almost all of them were actually these twisted, frankly evil social experiments. Some secret group used the apocalypse as their own private laboratory, just to see how humans would react under all sorts of cruel and bizarre conditions. And when I say twisted, I mean twisted. Look at this list. In Vault 11, the people inside were told they had to sacrifice one person every single year or they'd all die. Vault 21, it was just filled with compulsive gamblers and all conflicts were solved with games of chance. Vault 75 separated kids from their parents to try and harvest their genes to create a super soldier race. And then, oh boy, then you have Vault 108. This one is a huge fan favorite, and for good reason. So in Vault 108, a cloning experiment went horribly, horribly wrong. It ended up creating a whole population of increasingly violent clones, and they could only say one single word: Gary. I'm not kidding. Walking into that vault and just hearing a chorus of angry Gary coming at you is one of those moments that is so perfectly Fallout. It's dark, it's messed up, and it's absolutely hilarious. Okay, so that's the world. Now let's talk about the actual games that let us explore it all. Because the franchise has been around for a long time, and its evolution is a pretty cool story all on its own. The whole thing kicked off way back in 1997. The first couple of games were these classic top-down 2D role-playing games, but then everything changed. In 2008, Bethesda Softworks, the folks behind the Elder Scrolls, they released Fallout 3. And that's the moment the series transformed into the massive, first-person, open-world adventure that most people recognize today. That style continued through games like Fallout 4 and the first online multiplayer one, Fallout 76. And, that big shift to 3D, especially the 1-2 punch of a couple of those games, it sparked one of the biggest, most passionate debates in the entire Fallout community. Which, funnily enough, brings us to our next listener question. Courier 6 fan wants to know about the classic showdown Fallout 3 versus Fallout New Vegas. They ask, what's the big deal? Which one is better? And people have been arguing about this for more than a decade. The honest truth? There is no single right answer. The game that's better really truly depends on what you want out of a role-playing game. It pretty much breaks down like this. Fallout 3 is all about the exploration and the atmosphere. Its version of Washington, D.C. is just this grim, desolate ruin. It really feels like the world just ended yesterday. The game is all about that sense of discovery and being totally alone. Fallout New Vegas, on the other hand, is laser-focused on player choice and seriously complex writing. Its setting, the Mojave Desert, isn't really about the end of the world. It's about what comes after. You've got all these competing groups trying to rebuild society, and you are dropped right in the middle of their power struggle. This quote here from Reddit user Element of Confusion really sums up the argument for New Vegas perfectly. They say, while 3 might have better map design and atmosphere, NV has the better writing, plot, game mechanics, and lore. And for a lot of fans, that's what matters most. Those deep, branching quests where your choices have real consequences. It makes it feel like a truer role-playing experience. But then you've got the other side of the argument. This quote from Vito Cornelius really speaks for the people who just fell in love with Fallout 3's incredibly immersive world. He says, Fallout 3 provided many more memorable moments. It felt like home, desolate and broken as its world was. For these players, that feeling of stepping out of the vault for the first time, the pure atmosphere, that created more powerful, unforgettable moments. So ultimately, the whole debate really just boils down to this. Do you want to explore our world, or do you want to shape its story? If you're someone who just loves getting lost in a beautiful atmospheric environment, then yeah, Fallout 3 is probably your jam. But if you crave those deep stories where your decisions create real branching consequences, then New Vegas is probably your champion. And this incredible legacy, built over decades of these amazing games, has let Fallout just explode. It's become this massive cultural phenomenon that goes way, way beyond just video games. I mean, the hit TV show is just the latest, biggest example. The Wasteland has officially gone mainstream. We're talking multiple tabletop and board games. There's an official Vault Dwellers cookbook. There have even been crossovers with huge franchises like Fortnite and Magic the Gathering. It is safe to say that Fallout is bigger right now than it has ever been. Which I guess brings us to one last thought to leave you with. With this huge new audience and all this mainstream attention, is the soul of Fallout, that one-of-a-kind mix of Atom Punk style, dark humor, and tough moral choices, is it at a crossroads? Will its identity stay the same, or is it going to evolve into something totally new for the next generation? I guess only time will tell. That's all we've got for today at the FAQ Shack. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.